Well, Terry, you're describing our dream world quite perfectly. And that's in fact what we have to do to get around in this world.
Yes. However, for some, God only knows what the reason behind it is. And I mean that literally. For some, there's an awakening that occurs to what's actually happening. And no one's got any choice. There's no person there that has any choice around that. Just happens. Yeah. Like, you know, I still function in the world, Lizzie. Yeah. I still function in the world. Yeah. But like, reality shifts from the dream like reality to the actual reality. And mind still continues, but now it's a tool, literally a tool.
You know, sometimes I think if you could write a movie about this alternate reality that you encourage us to go to, then we could see that what is happening here actually is completely different. Like there's two things going on, like you say, but we only experience the one thing. And because you can't describe the other one, there's a very piecemeal picture put together of what that might be.
True. So it's more about trying to highlight the mechanism of the reality that you take to be reality. Let's have a look at that. That's what we do.
Yeah, and it appears to me what makes it so awkward is that you cannot actually posit the opposite for us.
I can't. It's not possible.
So you're encouraging us into a place where we can't really imagine, you know.
No, we can't imagine it. You're right. So the process really, Lizzie, is an unraveling of the seeming reality that we take to be real. It's an unraveling of that. And I usually start with, come to see what you're not. That's radical.
When you say it's an unraveling, is that something that you suppose it is? Or is that actually what the course is about?
Can you be more specific, Lizzie?
Well, you know, I guess in the end, I know it's just grace what happens, but I have to take that on faith even. You know, do you unravel the dream for us actually? I mean, how do we, this is the only thing we know, you know.
We do it.
So there is an unraveling, or there is like everything I know is based on assumption and belief. I can see that. I now have to assume and believe there's an alternate universe that is more real than the one I experienced.
Well, that would just be another assumption, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, all I could say to that, Lizzie, is the false just seems to drop away. It just seems to fall away. Falls away. And why I keep smiling and laughing is because when that happens, where you find yourself, you're sitting right here, right now, with your ass sitting on the couch. Right? But whilst conceptuality is still active, yeah, this that's sitting here on the couch with its ass on the couch and is going to be understood as something else other than what is actually here.
You see, I guess what I find I'm doing is standing up for the dream. I mean, the dream is true to me. It is. It's as true as, you know, that alternate universe you describe is real to you.
Really? The dream is true.
It's
That's an oxymoron right there.
true to me.
The dream is true to the dreamlike character.
Yes.
Good. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Good. So you're fully aware of what just came out of your mouth then?
Yes. This
You
dream.
convinced?
Yeah.
Good. Are you convinced it's a dream?
Yes.
Are you convinced that seeming Lizzie is also a dream character?
Seeming Lizzie.
Yeah.
Dream.
Is a dream character?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know.
Hold on. What knows that? You're attributing, correct me if I'm wrong, you're attributing the knowing of that to the Lizzie dream character.
Yes, that's right.
And that's wrong. That's wrong, Liz. The dream character knows nothing. Wouldn't know truth if truth walked up to it and slapped it in the face. Wouldn't know. No idea. No idea. Yeah.
It's funny then, isn't it? This word true. Because my experience, although
What was that word?
true.
Oh, true, yeah.
Yeah, my experience appears to be true. Yeah.
But, okay. Where are you right now? Here?
Yeah.
Good. So what experience are you talking about here, now?
The one that forms words, and by forming words takes me into a universe which is not real, apparently.
Well, where does it take you? Where are you right now?
I'm on the sofa conceptualizing.
Good. So where do words take you?
Into this conceptual universe.
What conceptual universe are you referring to?
The one that I dream up.
Good. And where's that located?
Here.
Where's here?
On the sofa.
So the conceptual universe that you dream up is on the sofa.
Yes. And when it moves around, encased in this body, it will be elsewhere.
Okay. So the conceptual, actually then, the conceptual universe that you're referring to, I would call mind.
Yes, I agree.
Right. Yeah. So let's see. You're sitting on the couch, right? What conceptual universe is the couch, your ass, your cardigan, your black cardigan, and your body experiencing right now?
Well, it would appear from what you say that so long as I don't recognize them or name them, then they remain authentic. But as soon as I look at them, recognize them, name them, then they become part of my dream.
Yeah, but the dream occurs in mind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this in mind? Is this in mind? Is this in mind?
It's not in mind, but the recognition of it is in the mind.
Tell me about the recognition of it. Great.
Well,
Tell me about that.
you know, when you did those actions, they came inherently to me with that, the names of the actions. So when you put your hands together, I knew you were clapping. And when you jumped in your seat, I knew that's what you were doing. I gave words to these actions, and by so doing, I somehow placed them in the past and in an unreal, not true place. So you tell me. Yet my experience is that I have to name it. I have to name things in order to get around.
As do I. As do I, Lizzie. As do I.
Well, then,
the difference is, I'm here. Absolutely here. Where are you?
why is it that if I have a thought, it means I'm not here? Thoughts are as real as anything else that's going on.
You have thoughts about me and a Lizzie and my experience. Yeah, that's the difference. The thoughts that happen here are just functional thoughts. There's no meing that happens anymore.
What about creativity, Terry? I mean, you know, the person who painted that picture on the wall behind you, they were thinking about that painting.
No, there was thinking. No. There was thinking about the painting.
Yeah, well,
there's a difference there, Lizzie. You've got to see it. There's no person that's thinking about the painting.
but there's no person thinking thoughts about other people either. Thoughts
True.
are just happening. So
True.
what makes the quality of a thought about other people different from the quality of a thought about creating a painting?
It's a really interesting point. Here, look, let's look at it like this, yeah? It's a really interesting point. As human beings, anybody that's super creative, we generally admire them. Sometimes we'll even pop them on a pedestal, like a brilliant singer, for example. Yeah, let's take Adele, a female singer. Yeah, everyone just goes, "Oh, she's just amazing. It's incredible how she sings," and we prop up the person. Now, who's actually singing? And we would say, Adele is singing. And I would say, no, she's not. There's just singing happening. We've had kids that are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years of age. They're just gifted with an absolutely astoundingly beautiful singing voice. Wow, that kid's amazing. It's not the like the child hasn't even been alive long enough yet to practice or learn how to sing. Just out it comes. That's creative, is it not?
Yeah.
It's the same with everything, Liz. With everything. We're just so used to attributing the creativity to a person. It's got nothing to do with a person.
What about the creativity of writing, which involves the mind?
Same. Why do we need to slot a person in there? Why? Why can't there just be thinking that happens and writing that happens without having to attribute it to a person that's the doer of it? Why?
No, we don't. We don't have to.
But generally, Lizzie, what I'm trying to point out there is generally we do. And that's the mistake. That's the mistake. Yeah, we do it ourselves. That's why I sometimes say, when you're walking down the street, who's walking down the street? A lot of times, in fact, most of the time when we're walking, we're not actually conscious of being a doer of the walking. That just happens, does it not?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Like if we were really the walking person walking down the street, Liz, that would take an awful lot of intelligence and a lot of our attention to facilitate all of that. The balance and the heel, toe, left, right, like keeping balance. But we naturally say, until we investigate it, we would naturally say, I walk down to the shops and back. How often are we walking and we're not even conscious of the walking? Somewhere else. Totally somewhere else. So everything is just beautifully, and I love the fact that you use the word creative, beautifully just being created moment by moment, including every step that we take as we're walking along. Everything.
And every thought we have.
Yeah. Now, there's nothing wrong with thoughts. Nothing wrong with thoughts. Not a thing. Only seems to be a problem with thoughts when we take possession of them. When there's a seeming person that then takes possession of it. And that seems to take possession of thoughts, that's the one we're trying to find. That. My thoughts. It's me that's being creative. I'm using my mind and my skill, my writing skills to write, and I'm doing this.
Yeah, I guess it's that possession which seems to give them weight,
Yeah, it does, honey. It does.
And with the weight comes the suffering.
Yeah, see, there's nothing wrong with thoughts. Thoughts can't hurt you at all. Like, at all. A thought has no power. Zero. Throw a thought at me that can hurt you or hurt someone. Throw one out.
Well, it's just, it would, that brings up the idea of projection,
Yeah, but it's the thought itself can't hurt.
Well, it's just
What hurts is the interpretation of that thought. But the thought itself is harmless, completely harmless. Try and kill someone with a thought. Like, be a lot of dead people around if people could do that. It can get pretty ugly in there. No matter how saintly we think we are. It works dualistically. It can't not. There's nothing wrong with thoughts. Nothing. They're just floating bits of information. The problem only arises when we say, these are my thoughts. Now you're fucked. Seriously. Now you're going to have a shit life. These are my thoughts. And that is saying, these are my thoughts, is not doing the thinking. That is saying, these are my thoughts, is not doing the thinking. The thinking just happens. And then that says, these are my thoughts, will then go on to say, a big story will get created, will then go on to say, I have low self-esteem, I'm not worthy, I experience shame, guilt, remorse, blah, 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 which the mind will just kick up. Yeah. And then there's a seeming person there, because the seeming person is then taking possession of the thoughts. Yeah. And it says, you know, these are my thoughts. Yeah. Yet this that's taking possession of them has zero control over them. And then this that's taking possession of them then steps in. It's a circus. Then steps in and tries to change the inner dialogue. Why? Because it believes, yeah, this that's taking possession of the thoughts is responsible for the thoughts. How could I think that? Why am I so critical of myself? You know, we go down a self-help path and trying to help ourselves, trying to change the thoughts. And
you describe different people at work, different imaginary people at work, those that say I've got a low self-esteem, those that criticize me for all that. But this has come about, it would appear, just by being taught.
Yeah, conditioned.
Yeah.
It's just conditioning, honey. Yep.
You know, if you experience A, then as a reflex, you're going to get B. That's just the way it's all hinged together.
This personal me, that the idea of self, which is the personal me, yeah, was put there.
Yeah. But more than that, it wasn't put there, you know, by uncaring parents. It was put there by consciousness as an idea and how to experience itself.
Yeah. You want to jump to there? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all conditioning.
Yes.
Yeah. If you want to come back to the seeming human experience,
That
it's
word,
all conditioning.
You know, that word conditioning. How could you put it another way?
Implanted. Look at it like we come in as a blank disc. Born, a blank disc. Just pure being. Happy and giggling and legs kicking in the air. And, you know, no thoughts happening yet. Just being. No idea of separation. No idea of this or that or me or you or up or that. Duality hasn't formed yet. Yeah, because that happens here. And it gets created with language. So that hasn't happened yet. It's like, you know, 3 and 6 months old lying on their back, kicking and giggling and saying we're having a grand old time. Nothing to do with language. They haven't learned that yet.
So really, we have to go into the forest first before we can get out of it.
Yeah, you've got to go into the forest first, Lizzie. But there's no person that's going into the forest. Yeah, that's the dream. For awakening to occur, you got to be asleep first. Yeah. Now, what I try and do is get you to recognize this person that you've been taking yourself to be is in the dream, still asleep, haven't yet awoken to the actual reality, the absolute you, not the finite, separate, isolated me that feels scared in the world and could put up boundaries and protect itself. And that's a bullshit thing. That's a bullshit person. That's not real. All produced by mind. All of it. Like, Liz, if you compare, if you compare your inner world, Liz, everyone here is going to have an inner world. Yeah. The world that gets created in mind. And he said and she said, and I did, and I wish they didn't, I wish I didn't. And so what time will I do this? Oh, God, I better, blah, 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 blah. It just, everyone's going to have an inner world. Yeah. Now compare that to this here. And where we've been living our whole life is that inner world. Not even aware of it. Not even aware of it.
The one that was taught to us.
Via, you ready? Damn, language.
Yes.
Boom. Yeah. Has to happen. It's just part of the natural functioning of everything. That has to occur. Yeah. Just like a fruit tree, starts to blossom in spring. Just that's the manifestation. That's the mechanics, and every year it will do that. Every year. So it's not like there's a glitch. It's not like there's something wrong. Yeah. And the people that, here's the irony, yeah. The seeming people that seem to suffer the most, or have the shittiest inner world thing going on, the people that get close to this. It's almost like a motivating force. It's a call home. And then what can often happen too is the closer we get to this, the more disturbing or fucked up our inner world can seem to be. We go, oh no, it's getting worse. It's getting worse. No. It's operating exactly as it has always operated. Now we're just more aware of it. Oh, it's getting worse. I can remember that. Oh, Jesus. It wasn't getting worse at all. There's just far more awareness of the inner world. Far more awareness. Rather than just a blind acceptance of it and kind of being it and not even aware. Everyone comes in a blank disc. That's why everybody loves babies. Oh. The innocence, the purity.
Yeah, the empty space in their eyes.
Yeah. and yet fullness at the same time. There's a joy that bursts out of them. And when they're hungry, that's it. To just or curious.
I am beleaguered by this word recognition. When you talk about the baby being hungry, they would actually have no recognition that they were hungry. They would have an acceptance that they were hungry.
Yeah. It wouldn't arise as a thought, I'm hungry.
No, so they don't know that.
That's right.
Or,
So good. So right there, Lizzie. So all that's happening is hunger. Not a person that's hungry, a being hungry.
The baby's not hungry either because they don't know they are.
Correct. So all that's happening, and this is still a label, remember what I said, yeah? All that's happening is hunger. You could also say all that's happening is sensation.
Yes, that's more accurate.
Yeah.
Until the baby recognizes that what it's experiencing is hunger, and then something changes. That's the recognition before the acceptance.
Yeah, and do you think, can you see how spontaneous and pure whatever the expression is that's happening with the child?
Yeah.
Do you think, see, what the child's not encumbered with, so let's say a 3-month-old, yeah? What the child is not encumbered with is, it might go, I'm hungry. That's just the universe saying, feed this bit of the universe. Right? But once the child latches onto the nipple and it starts feeding, yeah, do you reckon the child's kind of suckling away there on the teat, thinking to itself, that was a bit loud. I wonder if I disturbed my parents from that screaming that I just did for. Maybe next time I won't scream so loud. Kind of feels like I'm being a bit demanding, like, oh shit, like it's all about me. See, none of that's there yet. None of it's there. Yeah? Yet there's an aliveness in the child, and it's just, the me hasn't been created yet. Why? The word in the beginning is the word. Yeah? It's the word that creates a seeming beginning. There is no beginning, but a beginning seems to begin as a result of word, language. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's stamped.
Yeah. That's it. Now you're a me. That's it. Now we're just going to keep producing a me. Going to keep making one. Because we could zero control over whatever me is going to eventually believe it's here. No, zero control. Zero.
In children, the presence of the me does not seem to affect their ability to be in the now much.
Yeah, you're right. Like, but if you watch children, the older they get, the more their me comes into play.
Yeah.
More, yeah. Like, you often hear parents say, "Oh my God, my experience with my child from 0 to 10 years of age was blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Now my child's 15 or 16 years of age and I don't know her. I don't know this child.
You know, my granddaughter, she's 10.
Like combative, and she hates me. My child hates me.
But it's like, you know, I saw it in my granddaughter who's 10, and she and her brother who's 8, they were fighting verbally. And she was, don't do that to me, you know, really yelling and screaming. And in the middle of that, we kind of began to smile. You know how it is when you see the ludicrousness of this.
Yeah, yeah.
And my grandson and I, we were smiling, and so was my granddaughter for an instant. And then she couldn't bear the fact that she was going to smile in the middle of this anger. And you could see the hurt she then inflicted on herself to stop that smiling and carry on screaming. Yeah.
And the reality of all that you witnessed, all of that just happened, all of it. There's no person doing anything.
What you're watching is something that's being taught, being practiced.
Yeah, but it's, you know, there's not a person that's the practicer of what it's being taught.
No.
Yeah. That's what's important. It's that's important to see. Yeah. Thoughts and the seeming person that I am is just happening. Yeah, and the seeming person that I am is all based on whatever thoughts are going on in here. Yeah. And whatever thoughts are going on in here, you relatively quickly see you have zero control of that. All of that is just happening. All of the thoughts that are creating a me and a you and a this and a that and the world, and all of that is just arising, just happening. And the mistake we make is we take possession of it. These are my thoughts, and this is all about me. I'm the thinker, and even that taking possession of it has been taught as well. That's been taught as well. So even that's seemingly taking possession of it, yeah, is also built into all the thoughts. There's actually no one taking possession of it. It's an idea, like all the other thoughts that arise in here, that creates this, you know, our seeming inner world and a seeming me that's being affected by the thoughts or taking possession of the thoughts, or, yeah. It's just all thoughts that are just happening. Now, a thought can't recognize that. Consciousness can.
That's a very fine point, Terry.
Yeah. And we, you know, as a seeming me character, we're constantly trying to recognize what's happening, and all the mind can do is conceptualize. That's all it can do. That's all it can do. Yeah. And the seeming person is a total phantom. It just arises as a thought, yeah, from conditioning that, you know, the seeming person seems to receive as we're growing up as kids and through our teens and into adulthood, and it's just constantly being added to. This blank disc I'm talking about constantly gets added to. Yeah. That's why, you'll hear me say, yeah, right here, right now, you're aware of thoughts. And this that can be aware of thoughts cannot possibly be the me. Why? Because the me is thoughts. So there's something else happening here that hasn't fully dawned on us yet. Because for a long, long time, Lizzie, this that is actually aware of thoughts, we've been naming it me, and it's not. Is there awareness of thoughts? Yes. The mistake we make is we label it as me that's aware of thoughts, and it's the me can't be aware of thoughts. And then in the process of doing that, then the me kind of solidifies and it feels real, because awareness and consciousness and beingness is real. It is real. This is the trap. This is the way it's all set up to make us feel like we're a real person. And that is real is real. It's just not the person. It's the you. It's the actual you that we're looking for. We're looking for it. And for a while, it'll seem like it's the personal person looking for it. It will seem that way. That's why we keep needing to shine the light on what is this personal person? What is it? So all of that is finally set, and then it just starts to decay. Just naturally, in and of itself, it just drops away, Lizzie. Bob used to say all the time that the false cannot stand up to truthful investigation. It can't. It just can't. Now, all I've got to do is shift from the false, trying to see the false, which would be the me, right? The idea of me trying to see the false, and shift to the truth. And the truth is, you're conscious. Me can't see. Me cannot be aware. Unless you're telling me a thought, just a thought, is conscious and aware. And you'll see it's not, You see it's not. You'd be really fucked if it was, because you'd have 2 points of consciousness. You have this consciousness here, and then the mind that's conscious of this consciousness here, and this consciousness is conscious. You'd be really fucked then. Seriously. You wouldn't know what the fuck was going on. You wouldn't know. Where am I? Who am I? There is only 1 point. There's 1 point of consciousness and awareness and beingness. And it's right here, right now. And the only mistake that's been happening, and it's not even a mistake, the mechanism that's been happening all our life is we've just been calling this here, now, conscious awareness, beingness, me. And it's not. That's all. Now, for this to fully reveal itself, you've got to fully see, well, this has to fully see what it's not. And often we think, oh, it's the me that needs to fully see what it's not. No, it's this. The seeming person is in the dream, is the conditioning, is that that's all been overlaid onto a blank disc. Believing it's got free will. And every now and then something will work out for the me, And he goes, it'll pat itself on the shoulder and go, I did that. Like it seems to like affirm its own free will or control. Yeah. Most of the time, shit doesn't go the way me wants it to go. Even though it'll be a fluke that it does, which kind of reaffirms me, I did that.
Thank you, Terry.
Thanks, Lizzie. Love our little dialogues.
Lizzie, can I add something?
Yeah.
So it actually really, really does unravel. Like, it's unbelievable what has happened here. Like, I had more to say, I just forgot, but yeah, it really does. Just if you stick with it, it's like everything he was saying just became true or seen, and then it just dropped away. The pointer dropped away, and this, like he said, this opens up whatever this is, but I can't even say, but it's truly amazing. Thank you, Terry.
Thanks, Zavi.
I loved what Zavi said before everybody got here and we started recording, that everything's become a meditation. Meditation's a joke now because everything's meditation. Yeah. That's 100%. Lovely.
Yeah. Anything I do, the movies, driving, just walking, it's all meditation. It's something that I couldn't even accomplish while I tried to meditate back then. I was like, no, it can't be explained, but it's just truly amazing.